New intro. 121 subscribers. This is... Oh, by the way, the 120 subscribers special is actually pre-recorded. I had that one on the back burner for a long time. Not a long time, but a while. I was waiting to put that out. So, with this new intro, Sonic Boom Crush 40 versus Kafka's version. Woo! Yes. Sonic Boom. The actual good one. Not the rise of lyric. In Soviet Russia, lyric rise you. Okay. I have technically how many different things that I... Well, plus finishing up some of my previous stuff, I have three new things. Three new things that I'm bringing to the table. I think the last... I think since this is gonna kind of be a villain what if, the middle one should be a hero what if, then we go back to a villain what if. So, basically, two requests and something I wanted to do without needing it to be requested. Love a frickin' chicken. Whatever. The three things are actually... Basically, the person who was suggesting this said it could either be Izuku or Naruto. But since he gave me the option, I decided, why not both? Why not have them, like, team up against their own respective universes and, like, go all freaking Holocaust on everybody's asses? Like a holification version of the Holocaust. Basically on everyone's asses from both universes. So basically, it was what if Izuku or what if Naruto were the Vasto Lorde? Yes, Vasto Lorde. Oh. Oh, yes. I get to have some fun. Oh, and don't think that the one I actually wanted to do without anyone needing me to suggest to do it isn't going to be fun either, because I trust you it's going to be fun. But that's the first villain what if. The second villain what if, which is going to be the third and last one I do, for a little bit, is... the damn name of the thing. Jesus. Oh yeah, that's right. Like it's basically the Shonen Jump quirk, but villain version. So basically, obviously, it would be villain. So yeah, you have one where I'm basically taking the options, smashing them together, and making out a villain with, and you have an obvious villain, what if, which I actually have the people down who I want to give the powers of to Izuku. First, from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super, Demon King Piccolo, Majin Buu, Baby Vegeta, Rosa Goku Black. And from Naruto Part 1 and Part 2, Orochimaru, Obito, Madara, and Momoshiki. Well, I guess that's from Boruto as well, because Momoshiki. And from One Piece, Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Gecko Moria, and Crocodile. And from Bleach, Ukiora Cypher, and Askla Nakleva. And if you guys don't know who Askla Nakleva is, he is one of the freaking Sternritter. And from Hunter x Hunter, Hisoka and Miroen. Why did I have Hisoka there? Because he's kind of like a villain-ish type character. He definitely does have his sadistic sides to him. So, yeah, basically, all the characters right now, roll call, Demon King Piccolo, Majin Buu, Baby Vegeta, Rosa Goku Black, Orochimaru, Obito, Madara, Momoshiki, Don Quixote Doflamingo, Gecko Moria, Crocodile, Ukiora Cypher, Asuka Nakaivan, Hisoka, and Miroen. Why no villains from One Punch Man, you may ask? Because I don't remember any villains from One Punch Man. Like I know that it's random monsters that he faces sometimes, but I don't really remember anything. So, yeah. About that. About that. Basically, those are those are going to be the ones that are going to have like the powers that are going to be given to Izuku whenever he gets his villain shonen quirk. Whenever I do that part. But that is not what I'm doing first. Basically, there's two villain what ifs. There's the one where he gets all the powers from the one quirk, which is the thing I just stated, all the different people from to Demon King Piccolo, Majin Buu, Baby Vegeta, Rosa Goku Black, Orochimaru, Obito, Madara, Momoshiki, Don Quixote Doflamingo, Gecko Moria, Crocodile, Ukiora Cypher, Asuka Nakaiva, Hisoka, and Miroen. Yes, those are the people he's getting the powers from. Yeah. Anyways, basically the other villain what if is basically Izuku and Naruto. I'm gonna have them both be in this, and they're both going to be Vasto Lorde, and they're going to have their own little Sasuke revenge complexes. Mm. Mm. And for their own reasons. And for the middle what if, I need to jot some stuff down because I need to figure out which character I want to make what ranger. Because, damn it, the fact that the Green Ranger is also technically the White Ranger, good. And he's also technically the Gold Ranger as well. Shit. I mean, that's just wow. Mm, Tommy sure knows how to get his way around. Yeah, I think I remember Johnny is the Red Ranger. No, his name is Jason. I think his name is Jason. Jason is the Red Ranger. And Tommy is the Green, White, and Gold Ranger, if you're counting freaking Zeo. Which I do. But anything past Mighty Morphin and Zeo, anything past those two, I don't count. So, yeah. Basically, Mighty Morphin and Zeo are fair game, but nothing else. Not even the movies. I ain't dealing with that shit. Well, basically, yeah. I also have to write. I basically also have to get down which MHA character is going to be which ranger. One thing I am very sure of is that the pink and yellow rangers are going to be female, and that it's either Ochako is going to be the yellow ranger and Momo is going to be the pink ranger, or the other way around, Momo being the pink ranger, Momo being the yellow ranger and Ochako being the pink ranger. It could be either way, so I just have to make up my damn mind on that one. That's the one thing that I'm not too certain about, like, which way I want to go with that. But a part of me is leaning a little bit towards having Ochako be... I don't know. Uh, well, it's all on who seems like more of a Kimberly type. Like, I'm not exactly... I don't remember everything about Kimberly from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the show, but I think I remember a few things. I'm just wondering which one would be more like a Kimberly type. Ochako or basically which one would be more like a Kimberly type. Because the one who's more of a Kimberly type would be the one, because Kimberly is the Pink Ranger, they would be the one who's the Pink Ranger. Well, seeing as they're all teenagers with attitude, and I think I remember Kimberly being very athletic. Yes, I think I remember Kimberly being very athletic. And, well, technically all Choco's quirk does is make things float. And technically you have to be very flexible in order to, like, freaking create all the different shit that Momo was able to create with her creation quirk. That's it, I got it. Flexibility with creation, flexibility as a Power Ranger. And who's flexible and who's a woman? And a Power Ranger? Kimberly. And Kimberly is the Pink Ranger. So Momo, therefore, shall be the Pink Ranger whenever I do the thing. That would mean that Ochako would have to be the Yellow Ranger. So, oh, and you guys might be wondering, am I going to go for like the helmets? Like, am I going to go for like the Mighty Morphin helmets, or am I going to go for the Zeo helmets where they all had weird designs? The weird designs kind of sucked me out of the immersion. So I'm more or less going to go for the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger original series designs for like basically what you would see whenever they turn into the Rangers. Not the Zeo designs, but they will have Zeonizers. Oh, and the light staff will be a thing. The Zeo light staff. Oh, and Megazords. Oh, yeah, like everybody has their own Zord, and then whenever they fuse all the Zords together, they get the Megazord. Whenever you get all the Zords together, you get the Megazord. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. Well, now that I've solved that one mystery that I thought I'd probably never be able to solve, well, now to get to what the actual presentation is. Or as they would say, Alfred Hitchcock presents. I'm not even gonna try to pass myself off as Alfred Hitchcock. I am nowhere near that talented. Dude made freaking Psycho and Crows. That shit is freaking amazing. I think those are the only two well, I know he made Rear Window. Because Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. Yeah. I know he did that. Because I heard of the name Remember from that. Remember. Anyways, sorry if I am going off on a tangent way too long. My thoughts are running away from me. Anyways, I present the first villain what if. The first new villain what if that I'm gonna do for now, like in celebration of getting to our second milestone. Technically, it's our third milestone because, well, I guess over 1,000 views on a video was like a half a milestone. So like 2.5 milestones we have right now. 2.5. Whatever. Okay. Anyways. Basically, yeah. I almost turned into Porky Pig there. Porky the Pig. It's time for part 1 of What If Izuku and Naruto became Vasto Lorde. So, how exactly is this going to work? Basically, I guess we start off with why exactly they would want to strike back with a vengeance once they became Vasto Lorde, or whatever form of hollow they take. Well, Naruto's life is a piece of shit, and Izuku's life is a piece of shit. I mean, if you think about it, Izuku is quirkless, which in the society of, heroes basically means you are a Deku, you are worthless. Well, to everyone else you are. To everyone who actually has a quirk, like Bakugo, Kachan, you know, Izuku pretty much ever since the, day of his fourth birth, the day of his fourth birthday, he, his life was a living hell. So if that isn't enough reason to be pissed, then I don't know what. Plus, like, the symbol of peace said that he could not become a hero because he did not have a quirk. The one person I Izuku think that would like cheer him on, and his mother's not making anything better with her emotional state. So, yeah, the emotional state she's in. So, as you can imagine, Izuku is super freaking duper depressed. However, Naruto doesn't exactly have any better. As well, everyone in the freaking village that he lives in hates him, and every time it's his birthday, they literally go out and try to kill him. And it's not exactly like he gets any mercy on any normal days. No, they just stick to beating the living shit out of him. They can't really kill him because they can kind of tell that he can regenerate. They've kind of been able to get onto that, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's the demon fox at work. So, well, Naruto, basically his only supporters are the third Hokage, Hiroki Sensei, Taiuchi, and his daughter. Taiuchi is the ramen guy, if you guys don't know. So, yeah, with that little support, well, he does have two friends in Shikamaru and Choji. That's just because they don't give a damn about freaking shit, like, they just don't give a damn. They're total G's. Uh, and also, in the academy, there's this kid, Sasuke, who Sakura, a girl he is madly in love with, is constantly fawning over and fighting over him. Basically fighting with Ino for, like, Sasuke's affection. Even though Naruto is clearly making it very clear, very, 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 very clear that he is in love with her. She is a total dick. A total piece of human shit to this poor kid. Like, what did he ever do to you? What, you pissing your Cheerios? Oh, you were asleep? Jesus, woman. Let up. Let up or nut up. Then again, I guess it would be let up or ovary up. Because Sakura's a girl. Anyways. Yeah, so basically both Izuku and Naruto's lives are hell. Oh, hell. Like you have no idea. So, yeah. Well, Bakugo's never technically tried to kill Izuku with, any of his bullying before. And Naruto's constantly being like, people are trying to kill him. Still, in a society where pretty much means everything. Yeah, shit. I got a Pokeball! Anyways, in a society where power means everything, in a society where power means everything, Izuku's basically given the shitty end of the non-existent stick. Yeah, it's that bad. Plus, the fact that he's such an All Might fan, and he got literally just like a slap on the wrist by All Might whenever he said he couldn't become a hero. He couldn't accomplish his freaking dream. Yeah, it's pretty crushing. But Naruto really doesn't seem to have time for dreams. Like, he is constantly getting shade from everyone around him who is not the aforementioned people who actually give a shit. So, one day, a certain man, a man with unknown intentions, has now claimed a throne from its previous king. Now sitting upon the throne of the Hollows is Sosuke Aizen. Aizen can see his... Aizen can see everything. His jewel as a false god has given him the ability to see not just their reality, but other realities. He doesn't like what he sees in two specific realities. Two specific realities. One with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy, and another one with a green-eyed, green-haired boy. These two boys aren't much older or younger than each other, really. Naruto's 13, and Izuku's 15. Aizen thinks that he should keep watch over these boys. Make sure they don't make a mistake that they would regret in the future. Not knowing that he was unwillingly digging his own grave for himself by making the choices he was making. Or was he unwillingly doing that? Because, if he heard what Ichigo said, like whenever he was fighting Aizen, he could feel sadness, like from him, or something like that. Ichigo said, never mind. basically, soon it's the last day of, like, basically it's the end of middle school. Basically, the last day of middle school, Bakugo decides to get some extreme measures taken. And, well, Izuku is gonna try to, you know, go under a bridge into a tunnel to try to get away. But the sludge villain comes out with Bakugo's blast that he's hurling at Izuku while he's trying to run away, blasts the sludge villain back into the manhole. They're so damn strong. In fact, the manhole cover actually ends up flying freaking up in the air, hovering above Izuku's head at very fast speeds, falling down, 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 and Bakugo soon began to realize something. But just as he was about to do something about it, it was too late. Literally, decapitation via manhole cover as he was running away. Izuku was so fixated on running away from Bakugo. He was so fixated on running away from his childhood friend turned bully that he wasn't paying attention to what was hovering above him. Like, soaring down like some sort of heat-seeking missile. And it's all Bakugo's fault. If he had just left him alone like he had told him to, like he didn't want any trouble, he would just want him to leave him alone for once, this wouldn't have happened. But no, Bakugo had to be a dick. And so Izuku's head is now chopped the frick off by a manhole cover, flying through the air at God knows how fast speeds. And basically, whenever the manhole cover finally landed, apparently it was flying so fast it actually exploded the moment it hit the ground. Yeah, into several pieces. A few of them actually puncturing in, like, through the skin and, like, flesh of Bakugo's buddies. And he even gets hit a couple times, too, really deep. So, yeah. That's karma for you. Not only is he dead because of you, but now you be hurting. Though that doesn't kill Bakugo, that's because, well, in anticipation for anything to happen, he had his gauntlets out ready to defend him. Basically, he created a mini explosion to cushion, you know, the impact, like force of entry. Almost like a protective dome of explosive energy. So, just barely by managing to slow it down just a little, had it gone any faster, it would have killed Bakugo, but Bakugo was able to use like some sort of explosive energy dome power, and he was able to use it to save himself. However, his friends were also bullying Izuku. We're not so lucky because they did not have that powerful of a quirk. It was like the finger extendy guy and the kid with the wings. Yeah, they got freaking mowed down. And like insta kill. And well, Bakugo's pretty hurt, but it's nothing that would stop him from accomplishing his dream. which secretly, well, Izuku is like, he realizes that there's this chain on his chest. He starts to tug on the chain, but then he begins to realize he's beginning to wake up. And the chain is no longer visible. But there's a hole where the chain was. Right in the middle of his chest. It's a hollow hole. And if you guys are wondering what type of hollow, like, is he going to go through stages of hollow evolution? No, he was so tortured. He was such a tortured soul that whenever he died, it was like Ukiura automatic Vasto Lorde. Like auto Vasto Lorde. Just like with Ukiura and freaking, Stark, which, considering like nihilism and loneliness are very strong topics to be talked about. So, yeah, no wonder they were automatic Vasto Lorde whenever they became hollows. So, yeah. Basically, I'm gonna say that the feeling of straight up, I'm gonna go through them like 9 down to 0, like their aspects of death. Number 9, Aranyuri, his, I believe, was like some form of greed, I think. I don't freaking know. Number 8, Xyloprograns. I'm pretty sure that's lust. Number 7, Zomeri. Yeah, definitely, what was this thing again? I forget. Does not compute. So, basically, number 6, Grim Jiao Jagajak. Destruction. Yeah, is this destruction? Um, and number 5, Naruto Gyoga. I'm pretty sure his was despair or fear. It was one of those. I believe it was either despair or fear. Seeing as like Asnot, who's a stern ritter, his thing's all fear and shit. Plus, how Naruto likes to pick his opponents apart. Just like pick them apart like a, I don't know. Number 4 is Akira, like I said, nihilism. Number 3, there's technically 2 number 3s. Mm. Mm. Uh, originally, Nelio, her aspect of death is lamentation, while Hollybell's Tia Hollybell's aspect of death is uh, loyalty, and number two, Baragon. That's uh, Baragon's freaking thing is something to do with death. I know that. Like senescence, I think it's called senescence. And like I said, for Stark, loneliness. And since I'm thinking that I'm leaning more towards Noya Torres being despair, I think, well, technically, I think you would live in constant fear every day of your life. You died. Like, constant fear of, everything. Like, Bakugo's an asshole, and just everything going wrong. So, I will indeed say that should Izuku want to join the Espada, not only would he be a Vasto Lorde level Ankarar, but he would be given the aspect of death. Basically fear, because I think that's the only one that really fits. Because if Noya Torres is despair, not fear, then it would have to be fear. And, he wouldn't be the only one. He would actually be sharing an aspect of death with the other person who's going to be a Vastolorde level Ankarar. Like, if they choose to join Izuku. That is. Basically, a funeral. Jesus, Fred, scared me. Basically, they'd be sharing their own aspect of death. And there would have to be. I would also have to re-rank the Espada whenever, if they join. Like, if they decide to join, I would have to re-rank the Espada properly. So, just letting you guys know that's a thing. That could possibly happen. Basically, there is a funeral held, but not many people come to it. Like, nobody really seems to give a shit that Izuku's dead. Like, his mother cares, and Mitsuki cares. Bakugo feels bad, but that kind of no amount of feeling bad will ever make up for the fact that he's actually the one who caused it to happen. So, basically, with all of that dark emotion, he really would become hollow inside of his soul, and thus be a hollow himself. I'm gonna say that both for Izuku and Naruto, that they are just born natural Vasta Lorde. And, well, what exactly would Izuku look like? Well, basically his hero costume. Like him in his hero costume, if, like, all the green was white. Like, basically, his hero costume, but in a spot of colors. So, a lot of white and a little bit of black. But it's also extends, like, his skin, too. Like, his skin is pure white. But the only place that would really look anything like his hero costume, that is until he gets the hollow armor that's going to look like his hero's costume, is going to be his face, because that's going to be his hollow mask. Because technically his real face is still under there, but he has the mask. And what better mask than a hollow, basically a freaking Espada version of freaking Izuku's hero freaking wear mask. And we have the respirator. Well, he's already dead once, so I don't think he would really. Plus, I'm pretty sure Hollows at Vasto Lorde level sooner or later learn how to, walk on air with their Reiatsu foothold ability thing. So, you kind of probably wouldn't all be all that, too weary about dying again. So the respirator, if it actually was there, which you guys can decide if it's going to be there or not. Like if you want it to be there, it can be there. But if you don't want it to be there, you can just imagine that it's not there. Like if you don't want it to be a part of his hollow appearance. Basically, his normal skin is white, which goes very well with like the armor that he has, which is basically his hero costume, which is mainly white with the black where the black needs to be, like as for the like a something for the other colors, maybe even a little bit of gray, but they'd be very, you know, subtle tints of gray. And it kind of be the same thing for Naruto. Whenever he becomes a hollow, it's basically going to be like his Six Tails transformation. Only, actually, I think he should have the tails. Basically, with the bone stuff appearing, like that is armor. That's also a part of his body. And Naruto would actually have a lot more black because the parts of him that aren't like the bone parts of the Kyuubi would basically, the bone parts would be the only things that were white, and everything else, like the red stuff that he becomes, would be black. So Izuku would be mostly white with a tiny bit of black and a little bit of accented gray, and Naruto would be mostly black with some white, and along that white, maybe some accents of slight gray as well. And well, how exactly is Naruto going to die? Wouldn't that release the Nine Tails so he wouldn't have it anymore? Well, not exactly, because, oh, oh boy. If he died, then he would have to see, basically, in his reality, he would have to see the Shinigami first. Their version of the Shinigami, not Shinigami as in, like, Bleach Shinigami. Basically, their version. You know, the god of death, the Reaper. He would have to see him before he'd be able to pass on anywhere. But the Reaper would realize the chain, and Naruto would realize the chain, and that's whenever he would wake up, realizing he had to, this sensation. And so basically, whenever the chain snaps from him, waking him up into his new body in Huecamundo, the same thing that happened with Izuku, basically, that's going to be how he keeps Kurama, because, well, the chain is an aspect which is a part of becoming a hollow, so the Shinigami would indeed be, stopped by this, kind of stumped on whatever the hell's going on here, because this is not usually what happens whenever people die. Whenever they're brought upon him, they usually don't have chains coming out of their chest. Yes, both their hollow holes are going to be on their chests. And, well, you guys might be wondering, well, if their hollow, holes are going to be in the same place, does that mean the same thing for, their numbers? And, what are they going to be ranked? Well, I have to think about that stuff first. And I'm not very good at being put on the spot. So, I guess I just have to think about things. Yami would still be number 0. Yes, Yami would still be 0. Who would be Primera Espada, though? Well, technically, Yami's both 0 and 10. Because, the 1 goes away, revealing that he's actually the number 0. So he's both 10 and 0. So that would still go to Yami, though. Stark, I'm pretty sure, would still be Primera Espada. Oh, and this is going to be current Espada? Or should it be current Espada? Wait, maybe I should make it earlier Espada so that we can have both Nelio and freaking, Holly Bell. Have something like that. The premier spot would still go to Stark, though. I bet whenever thinking of number 2. Now, whenever we think about Izuku and Naruto, I basically am saying I'm gonna make number 0, /10 through 6 all the same. I'm basically gonna say that they're all the same. So Barugon is still number 2. And now you got Holy Bell for number 3, because they both are number 3. Number 4 still be Aura. Number 5 still be Noitora. Number 6 Ram Chow. Number 7. Would Zalmari still be number 7? Okay, there's Zalmari, there's Zalgrons, and then there's Ananyori. You're gonna have 2 new members. What slots are gonna change? Technically, I would still have Aranyero be the weakest, just because. Or at least, like, they can't really tie, like, that is unless, like, Izuku plans to replace Aranyero. Actually, that could be something interesting. All we have to do is figure out where Naruto's chips, land. Where the chips fall. Got number 7, number 8. Well, Naruto still has Kurama with him, so I'm gonna say that Zomari he claims to have the fastest Sonido, which I'm gonna call bullshit, because Ukiyor has 2 Resurrections, so his Sonido should be way freaking faster than Zomari's, even in his Resurrection Bruhadia. And yeah, because Ukiyor has 2. What you gonna do? Ukiyor has 2 Resurrections. Technically 3 if you want to believe the whole Tierra Tapa. Which might end up becoming a thing in this, because, 2 new members. And I kind of like having new training buddies. And Jesus Christ, why does that keep scaring me? Jesus, annoying as hell. What the frick? I just get comfortable and it happens again. Freaking I think what Naruto was doing, you know, his whole thing. Well, Zyle is a freaking genius, so Naruto definitely would have trouble trying to topple someone like him unless he just brute forced it. But Zyle has shown that he can take the brute force very, very well. While he may not be able to directly control Naruto completely because of Kurama, that's the thing. That they basically it kind of be like time for Spot. Okay, let me do this here. And also, Zalmari's Amor attack, that isn't exactly instant, as shown whenever, like, the barrier thing that Byakuya made was able to freaking. The wall thing that he made was able to stop the mark thing from appearing. So it's not instant, it's just very fast. But Naruto has been shown to be, very speed demonish. So I believe that in Sonido he would probably, be somewhere around Zamari's level, if not higher. Jesus. Why is it so damn hard to think of rankings? Hmm. I think I know what to do here. Number 7. The new number 7 shall indeed be Naruto. 8. We'll go to. Wait, I should put his last name. I didn't put his last name. Shit. Zalmari. So, number 9. Go to. Jesus. Technically, come on, how many of these are there? Actually, technically, Yami would be 0 and 11 because I'm about to make Aranero and Izuku number 10 because the espada just grew 2 sizes. Just like the Grinch's heart. You gotta take that the right way or the wrong way. You pick your own battles. Not me. Okay, so we got the lineup here. I actually have to fix something first. Okay. So, technically, he is now both the number 11 and 0 Espada, Yami. Stark is number 1, Baragon is number 2, Nelio and Holly Bell number 3, Ukiora number 4, Noyatora number 5, Grimjow number 6, Naruto number 7, Zalmari number 8, Zyle number 9, Aranero and Izuku number 10. Because I'm gonna have a little storyline to where Izuku ends up overthrowing the the Aranero and asserting himself dominant. I haven't even talked about how Naruto died. I talked about what he looked like as a hollow, but I did not talk about how he died. Basically, how do you think that he would die? Danzo would find his ass, and he would do some undercover shit with Orochimaru. Basically, do whatever the hell the frick they wanted to do. Until eventually Orochimaru ended up warning Danzo, like, if the kid dies, the Nine Tails will be released. However, Danzo demonstrated that kills Naruto automatically, like he just automatically kills Naruto, and nothing happens. And Orochimaru's like, what? Like, he is legit, he is not able to understand, like, is it, like, the thing that, the tail beast is supposed to be released, like, if the person dies? And Danzo's like, it's probably really somewhere else. Somewhere it won't be a bother to us. Or someone else. And Orochimaru's like, I wish I was optimistic as you, Danzo. But, lucky enough for me, I actually have a brain. He's like, yes, I actually have a brain to be worried about this. Look what this could mean. So, yeah. A funeral service does get held. You know, per the Hokage's orders. However, no one comes. No one comes. No one gives a shit about Naruto. Well, Kakashi secretly does care, because he's secretly sort of like hair, eyes, you can kind of tell. Like, just take away the whiskers, and you kind of see like a little itty-bitty version of Minato. Like his little itty-bitty version of his sensei. But, you know, Kakashi has his own problems. Constant nightmares about the promise that he broke whenever he killed Reed. So, basically, I'm gonna say that Izuku and Naruto both wake up. Ah, Jesus Frank! For the love of Mother of Mary Mercy, Jesus, Mother, Toast, Biscuit, Christ, Crackers, Basket. Ah! Shut up! I need your shit. Well, basically, they would both get up, and they would eventually find out that they had become something more than what they once were. Izuku would wonder if this was his quirk, and what exactly this place that he was now in was. This endless desert of white sand and crystal trees, where the moon is freaking ginormous and is always in its crescent phase. Or phases. I don't know if it has more than one crescent phase. It probably does. Basically, it's always a crescent moon. For some reason. He just ends up wandering aimlessly. However, seeing as they both woke up at the same time, it's pretty easy for them to find each other. Plus, they stand out quite a lot from the average Hollow. Not only are they Vasto Lorde right away, like right as soon as they freaking wake up in the damn place, but they do not look like ordinary Vasto Lorde. They are special. And, well, leave it to no one other than, Naruto Uzumaki himself to tell you you're special. Because, well, Naruto and Izuku, they end up meeting each other. And Naruto is a really nice guy. Izuku's not used to people being nice to him. So he does indeed, think this is a weird feeling. However, not long after they, become pretty much good travel buddies, Naruto and Izuku, they get approached by a man. A man who calls himself Sosuke Aizen. He says that he can use the power of this. He's holding on his hand the Hokyoku to change you into truly powerful version of yourself. You're strong now, of course, but once you've been transformed by the Hokyoku, you'll be even stronger. Izuku's like, yes, yes. Aizen's basically, bait and switching him into becoming a part of his army. Well, technically he does rule over. Frick you! Son of a crap basket. Shut up. Thank you. As basically, yes, Naruto and Izuku basically get walked around. Not walked around, really. Aizen just wants to flaunt his power, so he just posed them both all the way over to Las Noches. All the way over to the gate. Which would normally take like walking distance, take like 3 days in order to get to. So, yeah. That's a thing. So, yeah. Basically, Naruto and Izuku would get introduced to all of the Espada before they are even ranked. And they would even get introduced to... what is the name? Fraction. They would even get introduced to the Fraction of the Espada. And, well, Naruto and Izuku would ask, well, would they have Fraction? And Aizen is like, well, depends. Do you have the kind of presence to command someone to be under your leadership? And Naruto and Izuku just take that as a no. However, eventually it gets worked around to where they're starting to rank them up. Basically, Aizen would state that number both 0 and 11 Espada Yami, number 1 Espada Stark, number 2 Espada Baragon, number 3 Espada Neliel, 2 Ardeshvank, or whatever the frick how you pronounce that last name, 2 Ardeshvank. Basically, it's Neliel to Ardeshvank or whatever. It sounds German. So, basically, right now it's Neliel, not Hollybell yet. So, Neliel's number 3 right now. He says number 4, Ukiura, number 5, Noyatora, number 6, Grimjow, and you, Naruto, number 7. And Zomari is number 8, Zyle will be number 9, and, well, let's just say that you will be doing a little bit of a dual act who I had originally picked for the number 10 spot. Aranyeto. So basically, yes, he's basically told he's going to have to share the fame. And it's not even all that good fame. Like, you were, like, dead last in, like, the strongest of people. You were literally dead last in the strongest of your peeps. Damn peeps. Damn, boy, he's thick, them peeps. Basically, Naruto, knowing that he is number 7 Espada, well, naturally being number 7, Naruto, well, he was a good kid whenever he was alive, and even though he really does not like the village and really wants to F their shit up, uh, he is very new to this. So, yes, he is going to basically just go with the flow until Lord Aizen wills something else to happen. And well, Izuku basically being forced to share the fame with this Aranero guy, who apparently, because of some hollow he ate, he can apparently turn it into freaking things. Okay. Basically, first order of business here. First order of business, Aizen decides that, Izuku may need a little, you know, you know, he's basically, whenever he was alive, Aizen basically says that since whenever he was alive, he did not have a quirk, so things are probably going to be different for him. He wants to see how he does. Like, Aizen wants to see how Izuku does. Though he will, have Aranero go with him. And as you can expect, well, they do not get along very well. And you guys may be asking, well, the whole aspect of death thing, Darkshire Maverick, we get that fear might make sense for Izuku, but I'm gonna stop you right there, guys. Before you say that it doesn't make sense for Naruto, he is literally hunted down every day of his life and is never given a break. And it's even worse on his own birthday, to the point where he doesn't even feel safe in his own home. And there's barely anyone in the village who likes him. And even then, they're trying to persuade more people to hate him. Basically, so yeah, I think fear is a proper, aspect of death, because I think you'd be very afraid if you were in those circumstances, like very scared of like everything in the world. However, the ways in which Naruto and Izuku, go about like their whole aspect of death, the fact that they share an aspect, even though they have different rankings. Naruto's number 7, and Izuku shares the ranking of number 10 with Araneri. Basically, the way they go about their like expressing their aspect of death, as who they are, like basically, woo! I mean, if a giant 9-tailed demon fox that can shoot balls of energy that are create explosions the size of freaking Eiffel Tower I don't know. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. If that doesn't install fear into people, I don't know what will. So Naruto, through his essence of his connection with the Nine Tails, his bloodlust through his connection with the Demon Fox, and what that all got him in his life. Basically, I could see like Naruto as one of those Espada who has like those is constantly freaking monologuing about how much life sucks. And don't get me wrong, Izuku would do this too, but their monologues would be very different. Or would they? Like, they would be different-ish, I guess. And I guess the situation at hand here is Izuku and Aranyuri are basically going to the human world via Garganta. And Izuku somehow already knows how basically he just no freaking diff opens up a Garganta to the human world. Not only opens up a Garganta, but opens it up to the correct place. Aranyuri have to honestly say that they hate to admit it, but they are indeed impressed with this kid's, gusto. This kid's style. And so, basically, yeah. Basically, what Aizen told them to do whenever they got to the human world, well, basically, Izuku can do whatever the hell he wants there. As long as Aranyuri is freaking supervising what he's doing. Basically, keeping an eye on him so that he doesn't screw up. Like, screw up everything. So, yeah. Basically, the first thing that Izuku would actually want to do, since, he's a little bit more of a softy cinnamon roll type character, he would indeed still want to see his mom. If only to tell her that he is the, like a lot of things have changed. He is different now. He is now the number freaking, basically tied as the number 9 Espada. Aspect of death, fear. And, well, I could see that Inko not exactly liking that. Not exactly liking to know that Izuku was in on this whole thing. Like, that he was a part of it. But that's whenever, Aranyuri, well, seeing that a hero was just about to attack Izuku I'm going to say that heroes, seeing as they possess quirks, the quirks kind of act like a way to see these guys. Like, if you have a quirk, you could possibly have the potential to be able to see these guys. Not every quirk person has that, but some do. And the one who just so happens to try to attack Izuku just so happens to be oh shit. Well, Midnight got killed in the manga. And guess who took her place? Mount Lady. This is for the fact that I like Moon Knight, Midnight more than Mount Lady. Mount Lady is the one who tries to attack Izuku, with Kamui Woods and Death Arms following her intel. Basically, standing back, seeing if she can do this on her own. If she can't, they will go in to help her. But basically, Iron Yara and Yuri, only seeing Mount Lady, basically shoots a Sarah Blast straight at her face. And Officer. Yes, heroes are going to be dying left and right. And while I didn't say heroes and villains, well, I mean, come on. Any villain that pisses Aizen off is going to die, and you know that. He is the false god, after all. The false god of Bleach. So, yeah. So, basically, any villain who pisses him off is going to die. Or, pisses any of his, soldier dudes. Those people are going to die. So I think that it would be obvious that villains would die, but just to let you guys know, heroes are also going to die. They're going to drop like freaking flies, is what I'm trying to say. Not that they're just going to die, no, they're going to drop like flies. And it's going to be like freaking God of War up in this shit, because it's gonna be gruesome as hell how they die. Like, for example, Iron Yarrow just pulled a Superman on Mount Lady, because basically the Sarah Blast shot straight through her freaking face and all the way out the other side of her head. Like, literally pulling a Superman / Kano on Mount Lady. And, the Sarah ends up blowing up. Like, it ends up coming back around and then blowing up from behind her head. Like, blowing up most of her top half. So, yeah. Anya basically saying that he was just looking out for his, they were basically just looking out for him. And Izuku doesn't exactly believe that completely. Izuku doesn't believe that completely. That is until, freaking Kamui Woods and Death Arms come out the frick out of nowhere like the frickin' woodworks. And Yuri they're basically about to attack again, whenever all of a sudden Kamui Woods pulls his freaking quirk thing, and it lifts Iron Yuri up into the air, closer to the sun. And not only that, but the actual impact of getting knocked into this thing, because Death Arms actually helped Kamui Woods get him trapped in there by attacking while Kamui Woods was preparing the attack. So kind of like a sucker punch type move there. Basically, Death Arms' little attack would have damaged the little shell thing that Iron Yarrow has over his head. And Izuku would notice that, he would remember something. His analytical mind would start remembering something. Iron Yarrow can't be in the sun. That's right. Izuku hated sharing placement with Iron Yarrow as the number 9 Espada. He hated sharing. And that's because he was dealt a dirty hand all of his life, and now he has to share a spot? he feels like even though Aizen was technically doing him good, he was also technically doing him bad. He felt like he was being done bad because he was having to share now. And it's not that Izuku doesn't like inherently like sharing, but it's what he had to share which was the problem. He had to share power in which whenever basically, you know, they were both number 9, and so basically whenever Aranyuri freaking gets melted, like basically the tank and like the liquid in the tank is like the only thing protecting him, like them from like dying. And so Izuku just decides to use his own Sero straight through Kamui-Wood's thing and straight into the glass, blasting it open and killing Aranyuri instantly. Like almost instantly, the dude gets 69'd by his own guy who's supposed to be his comrade. And this confuses Kamui Woods and Death Arms, but it also scares the shit out of them. Like, the dude was literally, like, okay with just murdering his comrade. Just like that. Like, whenever he got the opportunity. Because it was already happening because the shell broke and he was exposed. You know, Izuku just decided he wasn't going to wait for some other miracle to happen. He was going to change things with his own actions. You know, as Izuku would say, I'm gonna love doing the monologues for this series because they're gonna be so much fun to do. It's like, don't you see the world as it is? It is stagnant. Basically, the world as it is stagnant. The world as it is now is stagnant, without motion, lifeless, an undead husk, yearning for freedom from this constant agony, ignorance, and spiteful sinning, hatred, love, grief, suffering. What does it all matter? The only thing that matters is fear in this world. Those that are feared are respected because of the power they have that made them feared in the first place. The only one who is the winner will be the one who is the winner. That is just. That is right. That is wrong. That is all things. That is fear. Fear is everything. Fear is palpable. It exists to exist. It exists to destroy. Fear will cleanse you from your sin. Now die! Grande Sero! You just fire a Grand Race Sero at Kamui Woods and Death Arms, but for some reason they wouldn't be able to find themselves able to move, and that would be because of the spiritual pressure that Izuku would have been letting off while he was saying that speech. The spiritual pressure was literally like holding them in place. And so they had no other choice but to be vaporized by the Grand Race Sero. So that's three heroes already dead now. I feel like a kid opening presents on Christmas doing these monologues. And then Izuku would be like, fear is primal. Fear is absolute. Fear is everything. Fear is nothing. Fear is... It exists because it is fear. There is no other reason that it needs to exist. The fact that it is fear enough is why it will be better than anything you would ever be. Just all be mediocre trash. Nothing ever comes out of fools like you. You want so bad to hit the limelight, but you're not ready for the consequences of rushing in head first. And I was ready to kill Aden Yuri, Aden Yeto, Aden Yuri, because of just how much I hated having to share what could have been my single gift from Lord Aizen-sama. No, Lord Aizen-sama already had an eye out for someone, so he made me share. So I killed him. I killed them. And I love it. I love this new position of power. Mother, I'm not your little baby boy anymore. And it reminds me, Mother, die. He would fire a Sero, going straight for Inko, but something would all of a sudden save her. She would all of a sudden be on top of a building, which she would recognize as All Might's house. She would wonder why it was All Might's house, and that's whenever she realized she was saved by All Might, who would then puff down and then tell her everything that he knew. And even why he's like this now. And Inko would just be freaking distraught that her son had turned into that. You know, Inko really just hated herself for letting her son become that way. And little do they know, Izuku would be listening to all of this. The whole thing about killing his mother was just a fluke to get All Might to come out because he was able to sense All Might. You know, one thing that Aizen did always notice about Izuku is that he's a very good sensory. You know, he's very good at sensory type things. So he can just sense everything that's going on. And he knows everything that's going on. Especially what's making the news. His masterpiece. His beautiful artwork of fear. Yes, unless you didn't know this, like, you know, unless you didn't know this, I've decided I'm going to make Izuku obsessed with his own aspect of death. Even though he shares it with Naruto, he's not really that upset about, sharing it with Naruto. He was more or less upset about sharing the rank. Because sharing a rank, especially a rank as low as he has, that just makes him look even worse. He's not even the full number 9, number 10, whatever. He at least wants to be the full amount of something. And killing on Yuri, he was able to become the full number 10 Espada. I don't freaking remember what Spanish for 10, but he is that Espada. And so, yeah. Basically, Izuku would return by opening another Garganta, showing that he has very good analytical skills. Because this is the second time he's opened a Garganta, and this is the second time he's opened it to the correct place that he wanted to go to. Straight to Las Noches to meet with Aizen. You know, because he probably figured out that Aizen probably already knew about what he did to Yuri. And Aizen would just state, "Oh, I figured one of you was going to try to kill the other for the spot. Anyways, I feared it would just be a matter of time before it happened, not so soon. Though you seem to have proven me wrong, Izuku." And Izuku would just be like, "Killed Arinyera and Yuri. Arinyera and Yuri. They did not have the correct perception of fear. Fear itself is enough alone to have a reason to be respected. So, have you found any sort of hollow that might want to be a faction of mine?" And, Aizen just gives him that look, which is like, "All in due time, my friend, all in due time." And, Izuku's on that high from killing Arinyera and Yuri. He's just on that high. He's just on that high from, killing the guys and having that big monologue about fear. He's continuing to monologue about it. That's going to be one of Izuku and Naruto's things. They're going to like to monologue about fear. Because it's both of their aspects. And both for good reason. So, yeah. Now that that's done over with, now we have Naruto. Like, what's Naruto doing at number 7? He's basically in between Grimmjow and Zomari. He's wedged in between there. It's made very clear that Naruto does not like Zomari, and the fact that he just calls Zomari out. He just calls him an Aizen kiss up. He calls him an Aizen. He either calls him an Aizen suck up, or an Aizen kiss ass, or an Aizen teacher's pet. Like an Aizen's pet. He literally just, does not like Zomari, and it's because he is such a kiss ass to Aizen. He does not have a mind of his own. He literally just does what Aizen says, what Aizen wills, and nothing else. This man, Naruto he thinks that this man has a problem, and that seeing as everyone just seemed to feel like they could freely, make fun of him whenever they wanted to. Naruto would do the same thing with Zomari because of just how much he dislikes the fact that he sucks so much up to Aizen. He does not like that. He's just like, dude, grow some balls. Get a freaking will for yourself. And that's why he really likes Grimmjow. Because Grimmjow is the exact opposite of everything Zomari is. He is the exact opposite of loyal to Aizen. He is a straight up asshole. But Naruto's like, dude, you have your own way, I have my own way. Just don't get in the way of me and my friend and our delicious fear. Yes. Usually they'll describe fear with another adjective like delicious or lovely or very good. You know, something like that. You know, that they're really into this, you know, position of power shit now. You know, for Izuku was basically everything. It still is basically everything for Izuku. Izuku, you know, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe giving them both fear isn't the right thing to do. I mean, like, I just now said the position of power, you know, kinda. Oh, yeah, so Mari's aspect of death was intoxication, I think. So, yeah. Mm, basically, Izuku feels like such in a position of power whenever he is, inflicting others with this feeling of fear, making them fear him, what he will do to them next, what he's going to do to them. Playing mind games just to scare the shit out of him. It gives him pleasure, it gives him joy. And, it does that because he feels like he. Did I say Naruto? I meant to say Izuku. Izuku feels all this. Like, Izuku likes to play the mind games to make people scared shitless before he kills them. Izuku's developing that kind of a complex as to where he's like. It's kind of like those movies where the serial killer is kind of more like a James Bond villain than anything else. Like, they always have a plan. They always have some sort of scheme. They're always up to something. They're always, those the dastardly do-batters. Do-batters. Hey, bada swing, bada swing. I think I might know something that would be good for Izuku, at least. He values not just fear, but his position of power, his placement overall, fear, and, how much of a position of power he's in are things that he values a lot. And so instead of just giving them, that I will give Izuku the aspect of death, have an aspect of death that is, that shall be. Oh, God. For the love of Christ. Uh, Power. Yes. His aspect of death will be power. Just straight up Ganondorf level of simplicity. Triforce of power. Like, that's basically going to be his aspect of death. Actually, I'm going to actually have that next to their names. Their aspects of death. How? For Naruto, I don't think he'd be up for the powers so much as just getting back at the people that at the village that wronged him. And that's something that we like to call vengeance. You want vengeance. You want to avenge. You want revenge. So I'm gonna give Naruto the aspect of death vengeance. And if these aren't actual aspects of death already, I'm sorry, but I think that they fit. But you know, they kind of also still have that motif of fear. They talk about fear a lot. But I'm also going to have them talk about their respective, you know, aspects of death a lot as well. It's just, they haven't really gotten out to, you know, be more familiar with this. This was Izuku's first outing, and he was with Aranyuri, so he couldn't really be all that outgoing, or else, you know, he would get reported or some shit. So he kind of had to off Aranyuri if he wanted to grow as a freaking member of the Espada, as a freaking character in general. So number 7 Espada, Naruto Uzumaki, Aspect of Death, Vengeance. And number 10 Espada, Izuku Midoriya, Aspect of Death, Power. Just the sound of those aspects of death alone, they just sound like great material that you could write for, you know? So, basically, Naruto's outing. Son of a biscuit! Shut up! Basically, Naruto's first outing, he gets sent with Grimmjow and Zalmari. Basically, Zalmari is like just constantly eyeing down Naruto. Just at any time, Naruto's like, at any time this guy could tell me off to Lord Aizen. I gotta play cool. Me and Grimmjow should have a plan soon. I just hope Izuku is gonna go on board with it. I hope he doesn't have anything against working with Grimmjow. Because, you know, Naruto doesn't know what Izuku's preferences are. Like, he didn't even hear their aspects of death, like all of their aspects of death. Because Naruto knows that they all have like a basis of aspect of death. He knows what his is, which is vengeance, but he doesn't know what Izuku's aspect is. It's power. So, yeah. You tell me if vengeance and power are going to be able to get along. Someone whose aspect of death, like an Espada whose aspect of death is vengeance, and an Espada whose aspect of death is power. Basically, Naruto, that's the only thing that he's really worried about. Zolmari telling him off, and, you know, if Izuku will actually, you know, work with him and Grimmjow. Now, like, if he ends up, you know, figuring out that obviously Naruto's working with Grimmjow. They have a plan that they're going to enact. So, yeah. Basically, on this outing, Naruto wants to head by the Leaf Village. And Zamari's like, what could actually be useful there? Like, literally, dude, why go there? Like, what's good there? And Grimjow's just like, oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't, share personal information with you like he does me. Because Naruto and Grimjow are good friends. So he would have told Grimjow and not Zamari why, he wants to head to the Leaf. He has some things that he wants to do. He basically wants to find Danzo. Lucky for him, dude just so happens to be in the Leaf Forest, the Hidden Leaf Forest. He just so happens to be hanging about there, talking with his, trainee Sai. When now all of a sudden, Sai's head gets cut off. Zomari's like, what was that for? That was not of Lord Isaac. And Naruto's just like, shut the hell up, Zomari. I'm doing something here. And Grimjow's just like, wow. Damn, boy. You got balls of steel. And Naruto's like, no, Hierro means iron. And Grimjow's like, you're totally playing me right now, aren't you? And Naruto's like, well, I would be, but first I have to deal with this guy. Hey, Danzo, you and the civilian council really make me sick, you know that? And Danzo not actually believing his eyes, seeing Naruto's alive. You're the one who actually ended up doing the job, Danzo. Knowing that it could be damn well possible that the nine-tailed fox might actually end up back in the village, and this whole thing would have to be done over and over again. Literally going in a circle. Tell me, what is worse than a world in stagnation? He's basically like, what is worse than a world in stagnation? A world without fear to guide it, of course. Fear guides those that have the will, the want and desire for vengeance in their hearts. Truth be told, I'm one of those individuals. You could call me a king of vengeance. Ah, yes. And basically, he'd just be like, right in front of Danzo, and he'd be like, I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to make it hurt a lot. No, actually, I have a better idea. Basically breaks Danzo's arms and legs. Opens our Garganta. It leads them back to Las Noches. Specifically a place where there's like this big pit, like full of like freaking men, basically a big pit full of hungry owls, like basically a game of Hungry Hippo. And so Naruto would just slice off a piece of Danzo's flesh and throw it down in the hole, and the hollows would go after it. he would slice up more and more, and keep on doing this until, like, Danzo would still be, like, Naruto would be shooting Reiatsu into Danzo to keep him alive so that he could still torture him. And the last thing that he would tear out would be the pain receptors inside of Danzo's body. Because he wanted that pain to last for a long time. And even then, he wouldn't actually fit him to the hollow. He would literally throw the rest of Danzo down there. They would eat Danzo. And basically, Naruto would have the pain receptors in hand. And he would say that these things are precious and need to be kept in a secret, in a good hiding place. I can look upon them whenever I want. And, well, yeah. Basically, Naruto only, like, left the pain receptors, maybe, like, the eyes as well, because, you know, the eyes are the most expressive thing in the body, so, like, they could express fear. Naruto likes that. It makes his lust for vengeance die down to where he's more complacent with the current living style, the current lifestyle that he has. Living style. What the frick am I talking about? So yeah, basically his eyes and his pain receptors are being kept. Naruto's keeping Danzo's eyes and pain receptors. He plans to do the same thing with Orochimaru whenever he eventually finds his ass, but whatever. Dude, you know, basically, Zomai would be like, "How dare you defy Lord Aizen?" And Naruto would be like, "I said, shut up, you bastard!" And Zomai would be like, "Ugh." He'd be like, "Objection!" like, it would just be like, wow, holy shit, he went that far. You know, Naruto would kind of be drawn from Kurama's chakra now. And, you know, he would kind of get that red aura. And Grimjaw would be like, Naruto, hey, buddy, you're doing it again. And Naruto would be like, oh, thanks, Grimjaw. I don't like doing that. But, oh well. Sweet dreams, you two. And so they would head their separate ways once they got to the medical temple, not really temple, but Kingdom of Las Noches. The Mundo capital. And Naruto really wouldn't have much, you really wouldn't give a shit about what Aizen would have to say, or any sort of punishment that he'd be given for being that way. And not surprisingly, Zomari did tell off to Aizen about what Naruto said and what he did. However, Aizen just like, however, Izuku had a similar experience. And Naruto's like, how's that? How is he? Is Izuku okay? Is he alright? Yeah, you guys will realize that they do indeed care for each other. And, well, Aizen's just like, yes, actually, he's quite in heavenly bliss right now. this. Despite you two have different aspects of death, you both seem to share a fondness for spreading fear. And Naruto's like, maybe that's perhaps because it's the only true way to spread that kind of aspect of death. Vengeance. If they fear you, then your vengeance will be all the more sweeter once they're all dead. Like, for instance, Donzo and his little trainee, Sai. What stupid fools. They honestly think they can run from me. I doubt the boy knew much about me, but still, Donzo, that was pretty stupid of him to think that he could get away from his ultimate demise. Nathan's like, would you like me to tell you what Izuku's aspect of death is? I did the same for him on your aspect. And I was just like, well, first, what did he have to say whenever he heard what mine was? And I would be like, well, if I'm to be honest, it even surprised me. He seemed relatively unfazed for someone who was constantly bullied all the time whenever he was alive. Having a friend whose aspect of death is vengeance, and the way they choose to execute that vengeance he even knows about that. Oh, but that's not from me. That's from other sources, of which I'm not even sure I know what they really are. And Naruto's just like, well, will you tell me his? And Aizen's just like, power. Is it obvious? And Naruto's like, yeah, actually that does make sense now that I think about it. Izuku, he straight up killed our Nuri now because he didn't want to share a position of power. And once he had a full control over that position of power, he was in ecstasy. Literally nowhere better in the world than where he was right there. At least for him. And so, these two now knowing about each other's aspects of death, basically they don't seem to really care. They are still friends. So, yeah, I guess that would show some loyalties. However, Noyatora wouldn't need to actually give a shit, calling Naruto emo for having the aspect of death, vengeance. And Naruto is like, dude, your aspect of death is freaking despair. If anyone's the emo, well, it's Ukiura because his is freaking nihilism. And Ukiura would actually be like, it would be like that thing, like, whenever he said to Grimjaw, like, what'd you say? He would literally be like, Naruto, what you just say? And, Naruto would be like, nothing, Ukiura. Ukiura and Naruto kind of have, like, this mutual respect relationship. It's not like him and Grimjaw were, like, they're, like, really good buddies, but, it's mutual respect, nonetheless. Like, considering that Ukiura's you know, being so loyal to Aizen isn't, you know, for the same reasons as Zomari's is. In Naruto's eyes, he actually finds that there are a lot better reasons than Zomari's reasons for why he's loyal to Aizen. Ukiura's are a lot more better, but basically a lot better than Zomari's reasons. And Ukiura really doesn't give a shit, like, what he thinks about his reasons for loyalty to Aizen. He literally does not give a shit. Dude is literally the aspect of death, nothing. Basically, nihilism, nothingness. Dude can't even afford to give a shit. Not even if you paid him. Izuku, nice. Naruto has like mutual respect for Ukiura though. Plus, you know how Ukiura said that not even Aizen knew about like something about his second release? Well, I guess that's something Naruto has up on Aizen. And since Naruto and Izuku are friends, basically Naruto would ask Ukiura if it was okay. And if he like told Izuku, and Ukiura would basically just stare at him with those cold 1,000-yard stare eyes, like the freaking Undertaker. And, well, Naruto would basically know that that was his answer, like, nuh-uh. Like, just you and me. Niños. Get it because Spanish? Anyways, Naruto's like, well, Kyora's going to have a shit fit if I tell Izuku. So I guess this will just have to be something in between me and the real emo of the Espada. And Ukyora's like, still don't care. About such trivial things. And, Ah, 2 hours. I knew it was going to be long. Anyways, how long's it gonna last this? Because it actually memory is OUT out of here. Yeah, boys, my boys. Like, favorite, describe. Click that little bell. Leave a comment in the section. And I'm about bounce like it's Quidditch. Yeet!